Hello and welcome to A Layman Looks at the Word with Hal Richardson. This time we're continuing with our study of UFOs in the Bible, and this is lesson 6 in the series. We know that God made the universe and the earth, which is part of it. In Psalms 14:1 it says, "The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, the world and all they that dwell therein." However, understand this, until God, in his only Son Jesus, was born here on the earth, he was an extraterrestrial, did not belong or come from the earth. His covenant with Abraham and the obedience that Abraham used to sacrifice Isaac gave God the legal means to have Jesus born as a man on this planet. We've seen in this series how God, several times in history of the Bible, has used UFOs or UAPs to intervene in the affairs of men. This is still going on today. We have seen recently more government sightings. On May 28th of 2022, the News Nation posted these pictures of what they called a swarm of UAPs that surrounded the USS Omaha. There were at least 14 UAPs that surrounded the ship. They went on and off radar, left no evidence of known propulsion. One even splashed down into the ocean. The Pentagon did say that these were real, and that the pictures taken by the U.S. Navy were being sent to the UAP task force to present it to Congress. Here are some other official Navy pictures from that newscast. All of that being said, we're going to continue and read in Zechariah about some of his visions. Zechariah 5:1. Then I turned and I lifted up mine eyes, and I looked, and behold, a flying roll. And he said unto me, What seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits. Then said he unto me, This is the curse that goes forth over the face of the whole earth. For every one that stealeth shall be cut off, as on this side, according to it, and every one that sweareth shall be cut off as on that side, according to it. Young's literal translation of this verse in verse 3, and he said unto me, This is the execration that is going forth over the face of all the land, for every one who is stealing on one side, according to it, has been declared innocent, and every one who has sworn on the other side, according to it, has been declared innocent. Back to the King James, continuing in verse 4, I will bring it forth, saith the Lord of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief, into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name, and it shall remain in the midst of his house, and shall consume it with the timber thereof and the stones thereof. This scroll vision of Zechariah seems to reflect the new covenant of the Lord that was fulfilled in Jesus the Messiah, yet throughout the Bible was declared upon those who believed by faith and received redemption. But there is a curse here, and we're going to see more about that as we continue reading. Zechariah 5:5. Then the angel that talked with me went forth and said unto me, Lift up now thine eyes, and see what is that goeth forth. And I said, What is it? And he said, This is an ephah that goeth forth. He said moreover, This is their resemblance through all the earth. Now an ephah is a measurement, and it's usually a basket. But notice the basket of the ancient type and the shape of it, because it said this is the shape through all the earth. Verse 7, And behold, there was lifted up a talent of lead, and this is a woman that sitteth in the midst of the ephah. And he said, This is wickedness. And he cast it into the midst of the ephah, and he cast the weight of the lead upon the mouth thereof. Then I lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, there came out 2 women, and the wind was in their wings, for they had wings like the wings of a stork. And they lifted up the ephah between the earth and the heaven. Then said I to the angel that talked with me, Whither do these bear the ephah? And he said unto me, To build it a house in the land of Shinar, and it shall be established, and set there upon her own base. This description, starting in verse 5 of the UAP, is from the dark side, and Zechariah saw a ship of the devil and the fallen. Technology does not stop in heaven. It is constantly improving, with an archangel in charge of the latest innovations. When Lucifer rebelled against God, his ability to have the latest technology was lost. God's ships are more capable and powerful than Satan's by many times. About 1980, there was a book that came out called Contact from the Pleiades. It was about a Swiss farmer that had these spaceships come to his farm and tell him that they were from the Pleiades star system. Because there is no reference to God in the book, and he is the one that created everything, I tend to believe these were satanic in origin. The ships seem to be older models compared to some that have been photographed even recently. This is a picture of the book for sale online. I saw the original years ago. Here's a couple of photographs from the book, Contact from the Pleiades, taken by the Swiss farmer. They do resemble some of the government photos, and if you'll notice, they also are similar in shape to the ancient ephah basket described here in Zechariah. This isn't conclusive evidence. The similarities are worth noting, though. Zechariah states that this is evil, and the women with the stork wings are only mentioned here. Nowhere else that I have found in the Bible. The land of Shinar is where the Tower of Babel was built, and Nebuchadnezzar's 100-foot high gold statue that caused forced worship, and the episode of Daniel's companions being thrown into the fiery furnace. The Bible tells us of a very powerful evil prince that resides there. We'll talk more about that later. L.A. Marzulli has written several books about the Nephilim and UFOs. He is a believer, and he's a studier of the Word and has done much research all over the world. The UFO abductions of people that he investigated always were a probing type experience, taking reproductive samples. And if there was a communication, God was not known in it. I believe that these are the UAPs of the devil and his fallen angels, once again trying to make an angel-human hybrid, as in the past, which were the giants or the Nephilim of Genesis 6 and after that. Well, that's going to conclude this lesson. We'll talk more about these things next time and get more into deeper ideas contained in the scriptures concerning unidentified aerial phenomenon and other things that God has made for us and things that we can see and latch onto. Remember that Jesus is the center of the whole scripture that God wrote in the Bible. He is the center of everything. through him, we are going to have eternity with God that will never end. And he is definitely the only way and the only truth and the only life and the only way to come to the Father. So if you don't know him, ask him in your life today. This is Hal Richardson. Join me next time. We'll continue with our study of UFOs in the Bible. Bye for now.